Well, hey, welcome back. It's the North Florida Sports Network 2024. The instant reaction is underway. And it's not a good one for Nole fans. But we're going to tell you what we think, what I think. And it's not all bad, as the Yellow Jackets come on top 24-21 to top Florida State. I don't know why the clock didn't stop when their back went out of bounds. The ref seemed quick to keep running the clock, but well-deserved win for the Yellow Jackets. Haynes King was the difference in the game. The quarterback willed the Georgia Tech offense to keep the chains moving, making the right decisions. And hats off to Georgia Tech. They come up with the big upset win. Florida State, back to the drawing board. Big loss, conference loss. There's a few plays that you'd love to have back, looking back at it now. But my gut reaction might surprise you. We're going to react to everything in the game. I'm going to give you it right off the key. The game just ended. The kick was made by Georgia Tech when they ran the clock down to 0 because they said his forward progress was stopped inbounds, which I don't know about that. He went down out of bounds. It was But Florida State, uphill battle this year now. But in a season where if you're ever going to lose one, I mean, if it was last year, it'd be over. It's not over. It's not. And I'm going to tell you why. The first and foremost is the opponent and when the game was scheduled. Okay? First and foremost, that is number one. This is coming off the first game of the year. You have a team with a veteran quarterback, a son of a ball coach in Haynes King, who played lights out in terms of decision making, did not make any mistakes. And I told you, if he does not turn the ball over, this is going to be a close game. And a couple of missed throws, well, just one really. One by DJU, had a chance to make a play to Chakai Douglas, and he missed him. But other than that, he did what was asked of him. Now, the argument could be made that what was asked of him was not much. And why was that? But I think you're discrediting Georgia Tech. I think this was set up to be Florida State, huge, Goliath. They're the big, favorite in this game. But if you really look at it and look at the rosters and based on when the game is played, not so. And that's why the line came down. And when I remember talking, I was talking to Jeff, the voice of the Noles, and he was mentioning this game is going to be one of the toughest on the schedule. And it's right there, right at the beginning of the schedule, coming off you're going into a new quarterback, a new era, losing a lot of key players. And you could kind of tell the game plan was a little cautious. If I had to say the least, the game plan was a little cautious. I don't think it was executed wrong or badly. There was a missed throw, but other than that, DJ played pretty well. Came up with some huge fourth down throws. I would say not not a lot was given to him early on to go out, and understandably. The big thing I take away is Georgia Tech's good. And they made a statement last season at the end of the year. Haynes King was he's a good quarterback. His teammates say he's the most underrated player in college football, which is to be expected by the teammates. But this is a former Jimbo recruit. This is a guy who's come up with big wins, upsets before. And if he wasn't going to turn the ball over, we said that this was going to be right down to the wire. And you got to make that throw. And I was just saying I like DJU. I think I still think the season's going to be good. I think the team played defensively is something that worries me a little bit, but Georgia Tech's offensively, I think, is a lot better than people are giving them credit for. This is a team that led the league in rushing last year, had the quarterback returning, a guy that transferred already, had another year, and this was scheduled. I mean, this game was circled by them and then just led into the hype, and they came out ready, as you saw. Florida State came out ready as well. After that, there wasn't really anything. And I thought that was a chance maybe to open up the playbook. It got a little conservative in the first half, I would say. But, I'm not going to sit here and, other than that throw to Ja'Kai Douglas, which I think he should have made, you had clutch field goals by Fitzgerald to keep yourself in the game. The defense got pushed around a little bit. That was going to have one thing, but you're going off an experienced offense that runs all kinds of different options and concepts that you have to be aware of. First game, it was a bad matchup. Last year's team was ready for a playoff at the beginning of the year. This year's team is going to take time. And there's a lot of good things I saw. I liked what I saw from the drive where DJ had the 15-play drive to lead the Noles back to tie the game. There's a couple of things that I wish I would have saw in terms of anyway. Yeah. All right. No, I'm sorry. It's an instant reaction. But I feel good about the team. There's going to be a lot, the instant, let's see, Florida State, they're overrated. Last year wasn't nothing, but you can't listen to that. What I'd tell you is Georgia Tech's really good. And they have a one step up in what is a tough schedule for them. We'll see what they do from this. But Florida State's got to regroup. They got BC coming in on Labor Day. And then they got Memphis, who some say is the best Power 5 team available. So it's not going to get any easier. It's time to grow. It's time to come together. But let's pull up some numbers here so we have a little bit to go off of. But I mean, losing the game, you don't think, if you win that game, it's because of Fitzgerald and what he did in the first half. We've bashed him before. I want to give him his props. In a losing effort, he kept, those field goals combined with the special teams play in the opening drive, that's good coaching. You kind of expected it. And the defense held up. The Georgia Tech didn't score the lights out. and Florida State needed to be more aggressive. If I had to say anything, I think they needed to throw the ball more. And I think there was a little bit of hesitation to do that with DJ. They wanted to ease him along. And again, I go back to the bad matchup. So when you play a game close to the vest, as they did, it can come down to a play or two, and they had the ball last, and they weren't able to make a stop. Georgia Tech was able to get first downs at will, and they had the ball with over 5 minutes left in the game, and they just went down and said, hey, we're going to go down and kick a field goal, and they did exactly that. And you can't win a game when someone can do that to you. So Florida State's got back to the drawing board on defense. Where was Darrell Jackson? I didn't see him. The defense was pushed around a little bit. First game of the year, a lot of multiple options. I think the Georgia Tech offense is a strength of theirs. I think they've been underrated. Their defense made a lot of improvements with first-year defense coordinator coming over for Duke. They missed a kick. Fitzgerald made both. You got to give credit to Georgia Tech. Dees is doing a good job over there, and they had the quarterback. And quarterback means so much nowadays. And you saw it last year with Jordan Travis. The offense completely changed and shut down. And this offense hasn't grown the confidence in DJ yet. At least the play calling hasn't. And that was on display, I would say, a little bit in the first half. But 24-21 is your final. 0-1. 15 straight before this loss when you're a double-digit favorite for the Noles. But how do you respond?
We had to go.
Oh, we got to get on out of here. All ride's here. And I've been up since 3 a.m. That's right. Working. I was off work at 10. You could, as I try to hide sometimes my Nole allegiance and try to be objective, this game scared me immediately. Once the schedule came out, if you were watching Georgia Tech, which I was at the end of last year, this team was hotter than jalapeno sauce, man. They were doing their thing. And Haynes King's a guy that was recruited by Jimbo. This is a guy that was at Texas A&M, transferred in. Son of a coach. When you put them as your first game on the schedule, get ready. It's going to be a tough year. It might be a good year, but it's going to be tough. It's going to challenge everything that this team is made of. It's going to challenge your fanhood, but remember that we're suing the owners of the sport. But other than that out of bounds call, I don't know. I don't think it played a role. Credit to Georgia Tech. Hats off to the Yellow Jackets, and because I think they deserved it. You can kind of see it coming. But 12 teams are allowed in, and a lot of less room for error for the Noles. Well, they got another home game against BC before we hit September. Actually, it's Labor Day night. Well, September doesn't really start until after Labor Day. So we got a huge reaction coming. We'll get Jimmy Reno. He's holding the chains down in Tampa for Junior's game. But he's going to react to this. We're going to look at all the film and come back at you early next week. Until then, have a good time, and we'll talk to you next time right here on the North Florida Sports Network.
We had to go. Our ride was here. We got a shuttle to our